Welcome to a motoring podcast, First Drive, and this time it's the Toyota CHR. Not the hybrid version, although this is the only one of these sort of compact SUVs which is available with a hybrid, but actually the 1.2 litre turbo petrol manual two-wheel drive model, which was probably best suited to the ones there for the Alpine route at Millbrook where I drove it. Now, this was the first drive of the day, so my apologies. I'm a little bit rusty on this one. If I could go back and turn back time, it would be a little bit slicker with some of the stuff that I learned as I went through the rest of the day. But anyway, in the meantime, here it is, the Toyota CHR.
Starting off the day, and I am in a Toyota CHR. Now, I know that these divide people's opinions because the styling is quite striking. For some folk, there is a lot of it going on. But all the same, I like it. But I drive a Vercross and stuff, so what do you expect? I actually quite like cars with challenging styling. I've had this 1.2 CHR, so 1.2 manual, as opposed to the hybrid, and I've taken it out and I've been around the hill course once. So I was going to go around a second time and just have a little bit of a chat as I go. So let's get it started. The dashboard in here is really very cool. There aren't that many buttons, but there is a massive touchscreen right in the middle. Up on the top here, it's got fake leather and stitching and stuff. It feels really high quality. There's this dark brown textured finish on the doors. It's just plastic, but it looks really expensive. It looks really cool. It's got this kind of diamond pokey pattern going on in there. The armrest here is dark brown as well, but I'm not really doing it justice with some of these descriptions, and that's about to fall off the windscreen, so I'll put that down. And there's this nice perforated leather in the seats in front and back. The back I haven't sat in. It doesn't look particularly big, but it looks bigger than a Duke, which is a similar vehicle in this kind of range. Let's have a go, see how we get on. Now, as I press this, it's a nice animation comes up in there, another one up on there. But enough waffling, let's get driving and see what we can do. That's that. I'm so unused to the idea of an electric park brake. I will get there eventually. Make sure nobody's going to run me over. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, down the bottom of the hill here we have the added challenge of trying not to get run over by supercars. So we'll see how we do. There's a speedo and there's a rev counter and there's a nice big that's my bag sliding around, and there's a nice big speed display in the middle in the computer, which I quite like. It's a 1.2 litre turbo engine, I think I said that, turbo petrol engine, and it's quite tiny. I mean, it's not a big car really. I've done my usual trick in going over the speed bumps, let's avoid those. But it seems to pull along quite happily. It's kind of strange, and it does. I mean, there is no lag, but you can sort of feel it kick in a little bit. This is one of the trickiest courses around here, of course. There is no overtaking into the shift. What's quite nice is you can tell that there's an awful lot of tech in this car. You can really feel the tech, but it's not intrusive. It doesn't sort of over ping and bing its way in. I mean, I don't know if I think lane departure warning's on, but I haven't actually kicked it in yet. Let's go for the overtake. Lovely. Just let the Porsche behind come around as well. But no, this drives really well. I mean, it's the power steering obviously is electric, so it's not, you know, it's not a 911, but it's for a small sort of small SUV type thing. This really does handle quite nicely. There is very little body roll. Really very little body roll. You would expect a car like this to wallow a bit, to be, I'm really gumming it around there, to wallow a bit, to sort of lollop a bit, well I did on the first time round, and this time no, it actually gets you, once you're used to it, you realise where the limits are. That's a blind crest. Where the limits are, they're actually quite high. Then you can really enjoy this car. I mean, this hill route is a simulation of sort of alpine hills and roads, and it is incredibly testing on the car. Yeah, it really does. It does handle quite well. I can imagine this being very good, you know, through the Highlands, around about my folks' house. This could really do the job. Down too far. Too many gears. Once again, Alan proves he's not a very good driver. No, this is quite a nice little car. It's very, very quiet in here. I know that my cars are all noisy and grumbly, but this is a quiet, seems pretty comfortable little car. Despite the 1.2 litre engine, it put quite a lot of people off, but it seems to have enough grunt around places like that hill road. So yeah, if you are in the market for a small SUV and you like the looks of the CHR, and I understand that they are a bit Marmite, then this is well worth your consideration.
There we are then, the Toyota CHR 1.2 litre petrol turbo in manual form, just there. Great little car. The biggest divider is going to be the looks, but most people do seem to like it and decide that it's futuristic in just the right kind of way. I made a couple of mistakes in there. I keep comparing it to the Duke. It's actually much bigger than the Duke. It is between a Duke and a Qashqai size. It is closer to the size of the original RAV4, which of course is that bit bigger nowadays. So yeah, it's worth bearing that in mind. That's one of the reasons why it has so much more. Well, it actually has some legroom and headroom in the back for a start. Please don't forget that we have a weekly motoring news podcast called Motoring Podcast News Show, which is available on all podcast players as well as on our website at motoringpodcast.com, the hub of all our activities. We've also got a second podcast called Rear View, where my podcasting colleague Andrew Clues speaks to interesting people from the motoring world, and trust me, all of the 30-something that we've had so far have been incredibly interesting in their own ways. This is YouTube, of course, so a like and a subscribe are greatly appreciated. And you can also follow us by all the usual channels, generally at Motoring Podcast in one way, shape or form. Hope you've enjoyed this. That's all for this time, but until the next time, safe motoring.